Welcome back, homebodies. So I'm outside by the garden. I thought I would give you a preview of what the garden looks like. I'm walking. Well, Chipper's doing a pee-pee over there. We won't put that on camera. So I thought I would do a preview of what the garden looks like before we actually put any plants in there. So I'm going to turn you around. So this is the garden that the former owners put in. It is supposedly deer proof, although we've had deer in there because we left the gates open and they go in there. There were some fruit trees in there, there still are, that the deer like to eat in the fall. So let me just show you, because my husband's been working on it. As I mentioned in an earlier video, this was totally overgrown. I don't have any photos of when it was overgrown. Unfortunately, we didn't take pictures of it. So I'm not going to go in there. Drip system already installed. Again, we didn't use any of this for 2 years when we moved in because it was totally overgrown. My husband had to replace a lot of the drip line because it was corroded and old. So that's what he's been working on. And we already have started plants up at the house that we're going to start planting in here. He also wants to put a row of corn on that side. I don't know how that's going to go. Probably too big for this little thing, but we'll find out, I guess. Anyway, I want to show you this one thing. So he did kill the grass around the garden because he's going to put mulch, kind of like a walkway to the gate. There is a bigger gate on the other side. And then we have a garden shed over here. That houses right now my son's workout equipment. So that's not really a garden shed anymore, but eventually it will go back to being a garden shed. This is our front lawn that Joe is currently mowing. And I'm actually going to go back inside because I don't want Chipper to get full of grass and he's going to go inside anyway. We got up today around 8. I had some breakfast. I did some work on my laptop. I got a shopping list together. I am going to go to Walmart in a little while and pick up some groceries. That's the plan for today. My husband's doing work outside all day. It's a little hot today for the Catskills. Normally it's cool with less humidity. It's a little humid today. So he's mowing the lawn right now. And then he's going to work on the garden and see how far he can get with the garden today. Scout was out with him for a little while in the morning. Chipper, when it's hot and humid, it's not good. It's not good weather for him to be outside because he gets overheated. So he's really an indoor dog. So we kept Chipper inside. But Scout loves to be outside. He's an outdoor dog, so he loves to be outside with his daddy. So that's kind of what's happening today around our home. Tonight I am going to cook something. I'm not sure what I'm going to cook for dinner. We'll find out later. So that's the plan for today. I did want to show you a little before of the garden because it's going to look different soon when he starts putting the plants in the soil and we start growing things that we've started growing here on the porch and in the house. We're going to actually put them in the garden hopefully this weekend. You know, in the Catskills where we live, the growing season starts a little later than other parts of the country. So in other parts of the country, people have started their gardens a month ago. But, you know, you really can't plant your garden in May in the Catskills because we sometimes still get frost overnight, and which will kill the plants. So we really have to start the garden in June. And I know it's late June now, but again, we had a lot of prep time to do. Joe had a lot of prep time to do before we could put the plants in the garden. A little bit about household chores and how we divide household chores. And when Joe and I first cohabitated together, we made a deal. And the deal was that I do inside work, he does outside work. Because I'm an indoor girl, I don't like bugs, I don't like the sun, and I don't like getting dirty. I just am not very excited about being outdoors. Even though I'm 100% Italian American, I don't tan, I burn. And so I've always been one to avoid the sun. So I don't really, like he'll stay outside all day in the hot sun and come in with a tan. If I was outside in the hot sun all day, I would be burned to a crisp with a fever. So the sun and I are not friends. We have pretty much never been friends. So I avoid the sun exposure as much as I possibly can. That's why I really don't like outdoor work. I also don't like the snow. I don't like touching the snow. I like looking at it at the window. I don't want to touch it. So the way that we divide the chores in the house is I do the cooking most of the time. I do the cleaning. I do laundry. This is all things that he wants nothing to do with. Although he is a great cook, but he doesn't really take a lot of time to do cooking anymore inside the house. So that's my duties, are the inside duties. Again, cooking, cleaning, organizing, and laundry. He does all the outside chores. So snow removal is Joe. We don't hire a company to come do the snow removal. He snow removes the snow from the driveway. He shovels the walkways and the stairs. I don't do that. I don't touch snow. He mows the lawn. We don't hire a company to mow the lawn. We are the company that mows the lawn. We do it ourselves. So he mows the lawn himself. He does all the outside maintenance himself. He will grill. In the summer, we do grill a lot. And I don't like the grill. I'm afraid of it because it's very high heat and I'm not comfortable with the barbecue. So he's in charge of the barbecue. So if we ever barbecue, he does a barbecue. He also downstairs, the people who lived here left him a smoker. And he, in the winter, will smoke all kinds of things. Brisket, steaks. At Thanksgiving for the past 2 years, he smoked a turkey, which was delicious. So he's in charge of the smoker, the barbecue. So he does outside cooking. I do inside cooking, which is fine with me. He is in charge of the cars. So he does car maintenance. He also is in charge of putting gasoline in the cars. I grew up in North Jersey. You're probably not aware of this. Jersey is the only state in the union that is 100% only allows full service gas stations. Oregon has some laws that allow for full service. However, in Oregon, in rural areas, they allow self-serve. In New Jersey, doesn't matter if you're in a rural area or in a city, every single gas station has to be full service. They will not allow you to fill your own tank of gas with gasoline. I think there's a $500 fine if you were caught filling your own tank in New Jersey. So that's where I was born and raised. I'm a Jersey girl. And I never learned how to pump gas because I've always had Joe, or I lived in Jersey. And honestly, I don't want to pump gas. It's smelly and it's nasty, and I don't really want to get out of the car, especially in the winter. So part of Joe's chores are to fill my gas tanks in my car. And so I just tell him, oh, my gas is getting low, and then he goes and fills it. Sometimes I'll have my son do it too. So he's in charge of the cars, including filling my gas tank. And that's just what it is when you marry a Jersey girl. They don't, like, literally, I don't know how to pump gas. That's just how it is. So that's part of what he does also. And he also fixes things around the house that need to be fixed. He's very handy. My husband can fix anything. He takes apart things, puts them back together. He can build a car engine. If he doesn't know how to do it, he'll watch videos and figure it out. And it's great because we don't have to hire people to do things around our house for the most part. He knows how to do it. He also works in IT, so he is my computer IT guy. And any problem with the computer, anything I need to do with the computer, Joe is my guy. So that's a lot of what Joe's responsibility. And, you know, for the most part, we don't hire people outside of our home to do things we can do ourselves. And in some ways, because we had to live financially responsibly for most of our life together, because both of us didn't make a lot of money, we have learned to be frugal and to live on a budget. Even though, you know, I've been teaching for many years now and my salary's gone up, my husband's been working many years, and even though we're better financially today, I still can't bring myself to pay other people to do things that we can do ourselves. So we are hands-on, we're going to do it ourselves type of people. And so, yeah, so I'm going to clean my own house even though I work full-time. And yeah, my husband's going to do the garden. And yeah, he's going to mow the lawn once a week. And that's just what we do. You know, we're going to do the work because we have two hands and we're homebodies. We like to work on our house and make it look nicer. So that's what we like to do. I know other people don't want to, you know, they don't enjoy doing things around the house. They'd rather be outside the house. Not everybody's a homebody. So, you know, to each their own. Again, for us, we enjoy fixing up our house and working on our house and making it nice and doing it ourselves and taking pride in that work. So not everybody's a homebody. We are homebodies, so that's what we enjoy doing. I'm going to run to Walmart now, and then maybe a little bit later I'll pick up and maybe tonight I'll show you what Joe has progressed with in the garden. I'll be back for you it'll be 1 second. I am back from Walmart, and I thought I would do a little grocery haul because I like to watch grocery hauls of other YouTubers, so I thought that would be fun to do. I spent $206 at my local Walmart. We have a super Walmart here, so they have everything pretty much and groceries. I mostly just bought groceries, so let's look at what we got. So that's my haul. So I got some coleslaw. I'm going to make coleslaw later in the week. I got some salted butter, Cabot. I got a bag of avocados and a bag of yellow onions, a head of iceberg lettuce, 2 pounds of ground beef. Back here, I got a packet of brown gravy that I use in some of my recipes, and fresh mushrooms, 18 eggs. I got some Kraft Colby Jack shredded cheese. I got some Great Value sandwich bags. I got my husband and son's favorite Velveeta shells and cheese and a deluxe macaroni and cheese. A couple yogurts. This is plain vanilla Greek yogurt my son puts in his protein shakes. I got a strawberry Chobani and then a almond coconut little packs of yogurt for my son and probably my husband. I got a little package of flour tortillas, some toaster corn cakes, my husband's favorite Funny Bones. I got this mocha Kit Kat for my son. I always get him a candy bar. Some fresh pineapple chunks, pretty big container of that. I got a couple things of soup, 2 home-style chicken, Progresso, and 2 chicken and rice. I got another package of cherry tomatoes that I like to cook with. Some coconut miracle oil shampoo, a bag of Lay's cheddar sour cream chips, a little thing of liquid Tide, a bag of candy. I have a little treat bucket in my pantry that I usually keep candy in. I got half and half for Joe and Julius. They like that in their coffee, and 2% milk. I got a little lint roller. My son likes Axe Apollo blue deodorant, so I got that for him. I needed a new date book that I use for school. This goes from June to June, which is perfect for the school year. So that's my academic planner. My other planner is ending this month, so I have to get a new one. I always get it at Walmart. 4 of these spring waters that I keep in the fridge to drink. When I make coffee or tea, I do use filtered tap water, but for drinking in the fridge, we like spring water. I bought 2 packages of cake mix, Devil's Food, and Betty Crocker, vanilla and Devil's Food, which I like to keep in the house in case I want to whip up a dessert. I did buy some Diet Ginger Ale, Canada Dry, a big case of Diet Coke. I never tried these before. These are Dot's Homestyle Pretzels, original seasoning. I thought I'd try them. I'll let you know later if I like them. My husband and son drink seltzers. These are unsweetened seltzers. So I got some bubbly. And so anyway, I got different flavors, but then my husband loves the blackberry flavor. That's his favorite, absolute favorite flavor. So that's my grocery haul. It really isn't that much. Oh, I forgot to show you. I got some young, small peas, and I got a can of cream of mushroom soup, which I do use in some recipes. Once in a while, it's good to have it on hand. And that's pretty much it for my grocery haul this week. That's not my weekly groceries, but I do have a lot of things in my freezer I need to use, and a lot of things in my pantry, so I really didn't need to stock up that much. So I mostly just bought a few. Oh, I forgot one more thing that I bought that I didn't show on camera because it's over here on the counter. So let me show you what that is. My son asked for a watermelon, so I did buy a whole watermelon. So that's my grocery haul for the weekend. I'll show you later what we're gonna cook for dinner. I have my puppies sitting on me, as per usual. They both have to sit on me. Oh, Scout's gonna jump down. Oh, Scout jumped down. Now I just have a Chipper bear. Chipper, say hi. Say hi. That's my baby. Oh, now they're both gone. Come on, you can jump. This is my jumping pug. Sit. Yeah, you're a good boy. Always check your Walmart receipts after you go shopping. To make sure that you got everything for the price that it was supposed to be. Scout's back. About 4 years ago, I was shopping in my local Walmart, and I was at the checkout, and I wasn't paying attention to what things were ringing up because I was bagging and putting things in the cart. And I left, and on the way home, I was thinking about the total price that I paid. I was thinking, wow, I didn't think I spent that much, but the total of what I bought was much higher than what I anticipated it was going to be, because I always have in my mind kind of an idea of how much I'm going to spend, and this was way over. So I got home, put the groceries away, looked at the receipt, and I had bought like a little bag, maybe of 6 peaches. And it came in a little like plastic bag that you could hold with handles. I had looked at the price at the time. It wasn't anything major. I think the price on the thing was like $4 for the little bag of peaches. I look at my receipt when I get home, and they charged me $40 for that bag of peaches. So in the car with the bag of peaches and the receipt, back to Walmart, went to customer service. I was like, I got charged $40 for 6 peaches. And I got my refund, and I told them, and it was ringing up with the barcode, $40. So they needed to change that. So I saved the day for the next person, hopefully. But ever since then, I really scrutinize my receipt and make sure that everything that the price was supposed to be came out on the receipt. We can look out the window at Joe mowing the lawn. Here's our backyard. I like the fact that in this house, the windows are low, so the dogs can look out them. There goes Joe again. But you can see that anytime they want to look out the window, they can just look out. I love that. In our last house, the windows were all very high, and Joy, our former dog, could not see out the windows. The only thing that she could see out of was the sliding glass door. We had a little deck out back of our kitchen with a sliding glass door, and Joy would look out that back window all the time to see if there was a squirrel or there was a chipmunk or a bird went by, and she would bark at that. She could also see out the side lights next to our front door. So she would stand, because we had a split level, kind of a raised ranch house, our last house. She could stand at the top of the steps and look out the side lights of the front door and see any birds or things in the front yard. She would bark at that. Other than that, every other window in our house was too high for her to see out of, so she could never look out the windows. When we came to this house, she could look out literally every window, and Chipper and Scout love to look out the windows. So all of these windows in the kitchen, show you. All of these windows in the kitchen are very low. They also have these French doors over here that they can see the driveway if anybody pulls up. They also can see out the windows in the living room, which I'll show you later. There's also a French door on this side out to a deck that they like to look out of. So it's nice that the dogs can see outside very easily. Keep track of all the things that are happening outside. They're good guard dogs. And even though they will never hurt an intruder, they will let us know once here. That's a good thing about having puppies that like to look out the windows. So they're playing a game right now called chase each other around the kitchen and bark at each other. So that's Scout's howl, barking at Chipper. Chipper's not really a big barker unless someone's here. Other than that, he doesn't really bark too much at Scout, but Scout likes to howl and bark, and he's very vocal. And so I'll show you. There's my Chipper bear. There he is. There he is. There's his face. There he is. Chipper, say hi. Say hi, sweetie. Oh, and there's his brother. And there's little Scouty. Look at that face. Look at that face. So handsome. You are so handsome. You are too, Chipper bear. Well, it's now Sunday afternoon. The puppies are taking a nap. They typically take a nap for 2 hours in the afternoon. I got up around 7 this morning. I always watch CBS News Sunday morning at 9 o'clock. I made breakfast. Joe was already outside, even though it's hot and humid out today, which is rare in the Catskills. He is going to try to work on the garden today. He did mow the lawn yesterday. Let's look at the progress we've done on the lawn. So the lawn is cut. There's one section in the middle there. We'll see long grass. That's a steep incline that he never cuts because the mower would fall over if he tried to. So, but most of the lawn around the pond is cut and our backyard is cut. He also cut the front lawn. I'll show you that. So here's a little look at the front lawn that is cut. I thought that today on Sunday I might give you a tour of my kitchen with more detail. I thought it would be nice to cook dinner with you today. What is on the menu tonight is a ground beef stroganoff. I like to do ground beef stroganoff. However, you can use stew meat and make stroganoff with stew meat. I'm going to do a quick version of ground beef stroganoff. So that's what we're going to be doing for dinner tonight. And I'll walk you through the ground beef stroganoff recipe that I have. And that's not my recipe, it's another recipe from Pinterest. And I will put the recipe in the description of this video. Since it's a nice sunny day out and it's kind of bright in here, I thought I would give you a more in-depth tour of my kitchen. Let's start with this cabinet here. If you'll notice, I don't have typical kitchen cabinets. The former owners tried to design this kitchen as an old farmhouse. So they actually used pieces of old pine furniture as the two cabinets. This particular cabinet has glass doors. The doors actually lock. See the key here? However, I never lock them. So I want to give you a little tour of what's inside this cabinet. So I have hanging here a little Italy ornament that I found at a craft fair in New Jersey about 15 years ago that I thought was really cute. As I mentioned in earlier videos, I'm 100% Italian American, so of course I have to represent Italy somewhere in my kitchen. So that's a little Italian girl. This is Italy on the bottom, which is so cute. So if we open up this cabinet, I have my wine glasses on the top, although Joe and I really don't drink, but it's mainly for guests. Down here I have this is just my everyday dishes. And these are Mikasa. They're called Strawberry Hill pattern. I actually inherited those from my uncle. On this side of the cabinet, I have my soup dishes. I also have some restaurant-ware dishes. These restaurant-ware dishes were left here by the previous owner. They just have a gold trim, and they are by Homer Laughlin. She left me quite a few of these restaurant-ware dishes. The only bad thing about those dishes is they cannot go in the dishwasher because the rim has metal, and they crackle and explode, because I unfortunately learned the hard way. But above that, I have this hen in a basket. This is a covered dish that was made in Czechoslovakia. It does have crazing inside, and it is cracked in the back. Let me just pull it out a little bit so you can see it a little better. So it's a little hen. It's a covered dish, so the top comes off. It's made of ceramic. It's probably from pre-World War II, I would guess, probably the 1930s. And it was my mother's, and I have a feeling it was my grandmother's. She didn't really display it, my mother, but I thought it looked adorable in this cabinet. I don't use it for serving food. I use it as decoration. She's always visible decorating my home. Up here, I'll show you this. This was my father's mother's gravy bowl, which I think she used for gravy, maybe even for sauce. They used to call the sauce gravy back then. There is no mark on it. I have no idea when this was made. I suspect it was made probably in the 20s or 30s. It doesn't have much crazing, just a little bit of crazing in it, so it's in pretty good condition. I don't really use it. It's not very practical. Actually, when I do use it, the sauce drips off the bottom and kind of stains the tablecloth, so I don't really like to use it too much. I mainly use it as decoration and kind of reminding me of my grandmother, so I keep it there as some decoration. If we look at the top of the cabinet, you will see a truck with a trailer. And I put a little thing of flowers in there. I'll pull back a little so you can see it. That truck was actually my husband's toy when he was a little kid. It is from the 1960s. It's by a company named Homebody Metal. And it was a pickup truck with a trailer. He actually played with that truck. You can see the dirt still on it and the rust because it was left outside. But I thought it was adorable decor for the kitchen cabinet, and I put different things in the trailer depending on the season. So right now we have a bucket of flowers. In the fall, I put a big pumpkin in the trailer. And at Christmas time, I put a Christmas tree that's just been cut. So I think that's kind of fun. These canisters I got from Amazon. And I wanted canisters that did not say coffee, tea, sugar, because I wanted to decide myself what I wanted to put in these canisters. And I don't store coffee and tea on my kitchen counter. I have a coffee nook that I'll show you later where I keep all my coffee supplies. So I don't need a coffee and tea canister to go with my sugar and my flour. I wanted plain canisters that had a country vibe that didn't say anything on them so I could put in them what I wanted. So in the large canister, I usually have them different animals showing. I have my flour. In the medium-sized canister, I have my granulated sugar. And this one has the goat showing. And then I usually have the pig showing for this. This is my brown sugar and my brown sugar keeper. So these are my go-to, and they seal. These are my go-to canisters for when I'm baking. I like to have all my baking supplies out on the counter. It's very convenient. I wanted something red. I have a red theme in my kitchen, so I wanted something red, something country themed that were cute, that didn't say coffee, tea, sugar on them, that were plain so I could do whatever I wanted with them. This is a toaster oven. I found this at clearance at Macy's. I liked it because it was red. It's nice that it has this, I have to clean this out. It has an oven tray and a toaster. This is a vintage mortal, I always forget how you say it. Pestle, Morton pestle. I don't remember the name of it. We call it a grinder. It's brass. This was my father's mother's, my grandmother, on my paternal grandmother's mortal and pestle. I don't know, what is it called? I can't remember. Anyway, they used it for garlic. You know, if they're making sauce, they grind the garlic up in here, and that's how we use it also. I mainly keep it as decoration though, as a homage to my grandmother. In the corner here, I have my ceramic apples. So I bought these years ago at Macy's, and it's just on a rope. And there's these little green ceramic leaves in between them. I love apples. I've always decorated my kitchen with apples. I love red, and apples is an accent, and so that's why I've had those forever. And then I have "The Mountains Are Calling and I Must Go" sign. That's a quote by, I think, John Muir. Above that, I have an apple wooden wreath that my sister gave me years ago because she knew I loved apples in my kitchen. It looks perfect above the kitchen window. I have a little fishing bear that my niece gave my husband, because my husband likes to fish, last year. She gave that to him. And then I have my Mary's Moo Moo collection. I used to collect Mary's Moo Moos. They don't make them anymore. But I have different ones for different seasons. So right now I have my summer Mary's Moo Moos out. So we have, you know, the little potato sack races, blueberry pies, watermelon, and then I have my birthday one out because my birthday was in May. So those are my Mary's Moo Moos. I have my Mary's Moo Moo sign. And in the fall, I'll switch these out for my fall ones. I have Christmas ones. I have them from all different seasons. Coming over to this cabinet, this is an open cabinet. I mainly use it for glasses, my olive oil. This is a casserole dish. of that. These were my uncle's. These were my uncle's vintage mugs, and they are Anchor Hawking, and they are stackable mugs. They're very 70s. Whenever I use these, and I do use these a lot, I'll make a cup of coffee in them, and I'll say I'm having a cup of coffee from 1973. And then I have other mugs up here. These are silver holders for glass cappuccino mugs. Also can be used for espresso. Those were left to me by the former owners of this house also. They left me quite a few things. Up here I have 2 Longaberger baskets. I have this little cheap pretend teapot from England that my mother had this is just a silly little salt and pepper shaker that I got on Amazon. Next to the middle Longaberger basket on the top shelf are 2 vintage pitchers. And then on the very top I have a ceramic rooster. That rooster is actually made of bone china, and it's by Noritake. It dates back to the 1960s, and it was something my parents had, and I ended up inheriting it, and I love it because it's so adorable. You can see how it looks when you're walking in to the kitchen. And then I already showed you my stove in an earlier video. My countertops look like soapstone, but they're actually made of another material that was from Italy. I don't remember the name of it. I have to ask Joe. There is this farmhouse sink that they put in, and it's divided, and there's my dirty pot. It's divided into 2 sections. I have a crystal ring holder that I got for my engagement that I leave here. If I need to take my ring off when I'm like mixing meat or something or making meatballs, I put it there. It's nice to have a ring holder in the kitchen. This is my KitchenAid standing mixer. I keep it covered with a cover so it doesn't get dusty. That way when I want to use it, it's ready to go. It's clean. It's just white. It doesn't really match the rest of my kitchen appliances, so I just keep it covered. I have an air fryer that I use, my microwave. I showed you my napkin holder in an earlier video. I got this cheap mason jar spoon holder that's already chipping. This is a cute little pitcher that I bought at Target. I might have bought it at Mervyn's. No, actually I bought it in the 1990s, and I always use it as a nice holder for my utensils. I also have this little heart utensil holder that my mother bought me when I first moved away in 1994, and I love it. It's so adorable. I love the little hearts, little cutout hearts. I keep my utensils out on the counter because I cook every night and I need to see them. I need to find them. I can't have them in a drawer. I do have a pot filler that I usually forget that I have because I've never had one before. So I actually don't use it as much as I should because I forget. But as time goes on, I'm going to start to try to use that more and more. I've already showed you my magnetic strip that holds all my utensils. This is my ornament of a black pug, because I used to have a black pug named Calvin. So that's cute. I've already shown you my fridge. Let me introduce you to my relatives. These are pictures that my mother had framed in her dining room years ago. And when my parents downsized their house, they live in an apartment now, I got some of these old photographs. So this big photograph in the middle are my great-grandparents on my mother's side. So that is Virginia and Michael Petrocelli on their wedding day. I don't remember the year they got married, but I want to say they got married in the 19-teens. So that's when this photo is dated from. I did meet her. I met her in the early 1970s when I was a little child. She died when I was about 6 years old. Michael, I never met. He died when my mother was a little girl. So I never met Michael Petrocelli, but I did meet Virginia Petrocelli. I called her great-grandma. The other pictures alongside the larger one are wedding photo pictures. And these were weddings that my father's mother was in as a bridesmaid. So I have 3 of them up. We actually have more photos. She was in a lot of weddings. These wedding party photos would have dated probably from the 1930s. So I'll show you that woman, third from the right, is my grandmother. And she's in all of these photos. But I love the photos. I love the styles. I love how the little children are dressed in them. You know, here's my grandmother is the second one from the right in this photo. But look at the little kids. The little boy, the little hat. And then we have this photo here. This is another one. My grandmother is the first one here on the right. And I love the hat the little boy is wearing. And here's the flower girls on either side. Look at those elaborate styles of what people wore in weddings in the 1930s. So I like to have a little family history in my kitchen. You'll also notice I have a strawberry garland. Everybody needs a little strawberry garland in their kitchen in the summer. So I actually got this from Amazon. It was supposed to be 2 garlands, but I wanted them to be double-sided. So I put them together. So if you come on this side, oh, they still look like strawberries. So it's strawberries from both angles. And I like to decorate this little hallway. So you'll notice that the floors in here are wood. All of the wood in our floors is reclaimed wood. So all of the floors in this kitchen and in this first floor are all reclaimed wood. So do they perfectly match? No. Are they scratched? Yep. But that's what I love about country style, is that it doesn't have to be perfect. And if it gets a little scratched up by the dogs, it's just lived in. So it still looks great. So I don't mind. I don't mind that it's scratched up. I love the warmth of the wood floors. So this is the Boo's butcher block. There are lights over it. Table that my husband bought on Facebook Marketplace. It was in pretty rough shape. And he actually refinished the top. I use this at baking time, at Christmas time. I use it to stamp out my cookies or do other projects in terms of baking. It does have 2 drawers for storage, which is nice. And then I have my little my apple salt and pepper holder that I bought at Amazon. So you can find that at Amazon. But I love my butcher block. It adds extra counter space to the kitchen. And it is lovely to have a counter with lights directly over it so I can see what I'm doing. When I was younger, I used to do a lot of oil painting. And this was one of my early oil paintings that I probably painted that around the time I was 15 or 16. Again, the apple theme, perfect for my kitchen. That is something special. So in this corner of my kitchen, I have a vintage chair that was my uncle's, and I think before that it was his parents, my grandparents. So this was my paternal grandparents' chair. I'm assuming it dates from the 1950s, maybe a little earlier, but I think that gold color was popular in the 1950s. It's in great condition. The caning on it is perfect. There's very little wear to it, and it matches perfectly in this room with the gold that is in the carpet underneath my kitchen table. Above it, we bought this corner shelf at a garage sale in Arizona in the mid-1990s. I think I paid $6 for it. It's so cute. It has a little drawer, and we put this handle on it because the handle that it had on it was just wood, and it wasn't very pretty. And this is where I keep my engagement and marriage precious moments. I was given this little girl engagement precious moments at our engagement party. And then the Christmas after we got married, Joe bought me the boy and the wedding couple. And I keep them all together here on this little corner shelf. And it's a little reminder of our wedding. Again, we've been married for 22 years now. So these are pretty old. This wall is also made of reclaimed wood. They put all this reclaimed wood along with the beams. Those are actual old beams. They have these old looking tin lights. They do work. This is a plate that is made in Italy. It's a vintage plate. I think the actual former owners left it for me, and so I like to put it here in the middle of this window. These curtains were left by the previous owner. I didn't put them on all 4 windows. I like to keep the view from being obstructed, so I only did the side windows, and I like the fact that you can see through these old lace curtains, so they don't totally block the beautiful view that we have of the pond and the hill and the backyard. This piece of furniture in the corner was at my uncle's house, and it has extra storage in the middle. I use it to keep my rosemary plant, my calendar. My mother got me years ago this little statue of a black pug. This was my uncle's cactus that I inherited. Joe thought it would be funny to label it cactus as if we don't know. And then he labeled this rosemary as if we wouldn't know it was rosemary. This plate is also a vintage plate that was my father's mother's. So it was my paternal grandmother's plate. It is Stengel pottery. It probably dates from the 1940s. It's in great condition. And I think it's really adorable on this table. This is a painting that was gifted to us by family friends when we bought the house. It's an original painting, and I love the fact that it has a barn and a fence and the autumn tree behind it with the birds flying. It really does look like our barn, because our barn is the same color as that barn, and I just love that painting, and it just looks perfect in this corner. So this Bless This House plate I got as a wedding gift. The Give Us This Day Our Daily Bread plate was given to me by my mother-in-law, and the middle plate was left by the previous owners. So these 3 pewter looking plates I have in the corner here, and then we have the dogs' play toys in the corner. That's where their toy box is. Let's look at this table. So this table was made by the Amish. We didn't have a table big enough for this kitchen when we bought the house. My dining room set is in the dining room. I'll show you that later. So we actually had to order an Amish table. It did not come with these chairs. We bought these chairs from Amazon, but it did come with the bench. So we have a bench on this side, and then we have this thick wooden Amish table. It came unfinished. My husband put the finish on it. It looks rough, but it's actually very smooth. He put many coats of finish over this table. I have my crystal candlesticks I got from my wedding, a table runner, some crystal. I always have crystal bowls. I bought these little country fillers and apple decoration beads from Amazon, and then these fillers were from Amazon also. This is one of the things I love, are these apple rings. These were my mother's. They're made in Italy. And I'm sure that they are at least 60 years old, maybe older. And I love the colors on them. I leave them out in the summer, and I leave them out through the fall. And you can even leave them out at Christmas time because they have red in them. But they're so adorable. They look so cute on these candlesticks. And I love them, love them, love them, and I'm always going to have them up. This chandelier was left here by the previous owners. I think it's from Pottery Barn because I think all her lights were from Pottery Barn, but I'm not 100% sure. These are tea ornaments that I got for Christmas from my mother years ago that matched perfectly, and I thought they would be so cute up there. But I really, really love the way that the chandelier looks in here. I love the plaid on the light shades, and I love the leaves pattern on it. It's very feminine and very country, and I just love it. This is a little look at my kitchen. Above my fridge, they left an open shelf. And I have a Longaberger cake basket that I got as a gift at my bridal shower. And I've always kept it above my fridge. It's so pretty. I love it. That rooster is a metal rooster, decorative rooster that the former owners left me. And it goes perfectly up there with my longer burger basket. And then that is just a tall mason jar that I filled with cupcake liners, different decorative cupcake liners that I actually use. Those are my cupcake liners that I use. So when I'm making cupcakes, I have to get a chair and climb up there and grab my cupcake liners. But I think it's so adorable to have it also decorating the kitchen. So that is a little bit of what's up on that top shelf. And my fridge, you've already seen that. Years ago at a Hallmark store, my husband bought me this apple a day craft stitchery. And I love it. I've always had it in my kitchen because I love apples. And then my mother bought me this hand-painted measurements plaque. And it really comes in handy when I'm cooking and I need to know how many ounces is in a cup, or how many cups are in a pint, or how many tablespoons make 1 cup. And I do use that often to figure out measurements. So that's a little bit of a tour of my kitchen. In a few hours, I'm going to start making dinner. We are going to make ground beef stroganoff for dinner. I know I said earlier that this would be a crock-pot recipe, but I decided to do it as a skillet meal instead, so I didn't have to do prep last night. So I already have all the ingredients out. Let's look at them. So this is a quick, easy recipe for ground beef stroganoff. So I have 1 cup of water, a package of egg noodles, 1/2 cup of sour cream. I have some garlic powder, onion powder, some dried parsley flakes. I have a package of brown gravy. This one happens to be less sodium, or you can use the regular one. I have about 1 onion chopped. I used the mixture of a red onion that I had left over and a yellow onion. 1 can of cream of mushroom soup. You can use the low-fat one if you want. I have a package here of white mushrooms that are already chopped and cleaned. And then I have about 2 pounds of ground beef in my frying pan that I have just heated up. So I'm going to break it up when it starts to sizzle. But I do have this little tool which breaks up ground meat. And it is a very good tool to have in the kitchen. So I have a potato masher, and then I have this meat. I don't know what you would call this. Meat grinder. It's not a meat grinder. So once the meat starts to sizzle and starts to cook, then I'm going to put in here the mushrooms, the onion powder and the garlic powder, and the salt and pepper to taste. I have a pot of water on high for boiling the noodles. Make sure that's on as high as it can go. We're going to wait for the ground beef to start sizzling before we add the mushrooms, the onions, the salt and pepper, and the onion powder and the garlic powder. The ground beef has started to brown, so I'm going to pour in the onion. I'm going to put all the onion into the pan. It's going to cook with the ground beef now. I looked it up. This is called a meat chopper. I thought it had a fancier name, but apparently not. It's just a good old-fashioned meat chopper. That's it. Guess what? I bought it at Dollar General for $2. But it works. I have my clean sliced mushrooms that I'm going to add to the pan. All right, the meat, the onions, and the mushrooms are going to be mixed together. I don't really need this meat chopper anymore. I'm going to go get a spoon. I'm going to stir around the meat. It's set on medium-high, which on my stove is about a 5. And this is about 2 pounds of ground beef. We are now going to add the onion powder and the garlic powder. It's about a teaspoon of each. I'm not really going to measure it. I'm just going to kind of make sure it's sprinkled around the pan. So that is the onion. No, that's the garlic powder. And then we'll do about the same with the onion powder. Just spread it around the pan. It should be about a teaspoon. That's about a teaspoon. Mix that in pretty well. And let all of the meat brown up while the onions and the mushrooms start cooking. So the mushrooms are going to break down and the meat is going to cook, and that's going to release some juices. Then we're going to drain all the fat and juices out of the pan. I'm going to add a little salt and pepper. So I have my little pepper. It's just my table pepper. And my little salt shaker. I've already salted the pot of water for the noodles. And the noodles are probably going to cook about 10 minutes when that starts boiling. It's already starting to get hot. So that's how it's going to look as you're cooking it. I'm going to let it simmer for a little bit. In the meantime, you're going to take your 1 cup of water and you're going to whisk in your brown gravy packet. Try to make sure it's all incorporated. I know this is kind of a big whisk, but it should look like that. You're going to keep that to the side for a minute while you continue to stir and brown the beef with the vegetables. Is this recipe low fat? No. Although you could use low fat cream of mushroom soup and low fat sour cream, but I'm not doing that today. I'm also going to serve this with a side of vegetables, probably peas or green beans. So that'll be the additional vegetable that I'll serve this with. The carb will be the noodles that we're going to cook, the egg noodles. Just let it simmer. Make sure this is whisked up. Once the beef is brown and the mushrooms are cooked and the onions are soft, it will look like this. Now you need to drain it because we don't want all the fat in the final dish. I could dump this in a colander and drain the grease in the sink. However, my colander has big holes and all the little ground beef is going to go through it into the sink. So I'm going to use a slotted spoon and I'm going to just pick up scoopfuls of the beef and mushroom mixture. I'm going to drain it over the pan and then put it into a clean bowl. So I'm going to leave the grease in the frying pan. So you just wait until it's not drippy as much. Okay. You're never going to be able to get all the grease out, but you can get a lot of the grease out this way. So I'll take a little extra time and drain the grease this way. I'm going to pour this grease into a little bowl, and when it's cool, I'll put it in the garbage pail. So I just have a little bowl that I'm going to pour the grease into over here. I'm going to wipe the pan with a paper towel just to make sure that most of the grease is gone. Just take a paper towel, roll it up, and dab it in the pan. Don't get your sleeve in it. This is the extra grease I don't want in my dish. Okay, I'm gonna put the beef back into the pan. Now that most of the grease has been drained out of it, my pan is nice and hot. Scrape all the little onions that are in there back into the pan. Okay. Onion. Now I'm going to take this beef gravy that I whisked before and I'm going to pour it onto the beef. This is just the beef gravy and the cup of tap water. I'm going to mix that together so all the beef gravy is on the mushrooms and the beef there. Okay, so I never lowered the heat. Still set on medium high. Next we're going to stir in the half a cup of sour cream and the can of cream of mushroom soup. I'm going to add the sour cream first because that's what my spoon is in. And the cream of mushroom soup. I'm going to use my slotted spoon and just mix that all in together with the beef gravy and the onions and the ground beef and the mushrooms, fresh mushrooms. You can use different types of mushrooms for this recipe. If you like portobello mushrooms, you could use cut up portobello mushrooms. Or any mushroom you like. I used white mushrooms. I use just the plain white button mushrooms, but any mushroom will work. So once that's incorporated, you're going to let this simmer for about 10 minutes and wait for your water to boil on your pasta so you can cook your pasta noodles. This is what it looks like when it's simmering. And you just want to keep an eye on it so it doesn't stick to the bottom of the pan. So just keep stirring it. I'm going to lower my heat a little so it doesn't stick to the bottom of the pan too much. But you got to really keep an eye on it and not let it get stuck to the bottom of your pan. So just let it simmer. Alexa, set a timer for 10 minutes.
10 minutes, starting now.
So now that this is simmering, it's just going to simmer for 10 minutes. I lowered the heat on it a little bit so it's not too high. This is a good winter meal. It already kind of smells like fall in here today because it is kind of a wintry meal. It's a comfort food and it is good for those cold winter months. But I'm making it in June. Magic has happened. Let me show you the stroganoff. The beef is cooked. I took it off the burner. I do have a pot of boiling water. I'm going to add a bag of egg noodles now. This package says that it will be al dente in 9 minutes. Don't cook it over whatever the package says for al dente. You don't want mushy noodles. Alexa, set a timer for 9 minutes.
9 minutes, starting now.
Don't forget to stir the noodles when you first put them in the water. You don't want them to stick to the bottom of the pan. And we're going to cook that for 9 minutes. We're going to drain it in a colander in the sink and add it to the beef mixture. Then we're going to sprinkle about 2 teaspoons of parsley over the noodles and the beef. You can serve this with some sour cream on the side, but it is creamy enough that you really don't need the extra sour cream. I'm going to make some vegetables as a side dish for this. You could make a salad and serve it with a side salad, but I'm going to do probably green beans as the vegetable on the side, and dinner's ready. So it is a quick, easy meal to whip together. You can make it more low fat if you add low fat sour cream and low fat cream of mushroom soup. I'm sure that there are other low fat stroganoff recipes that you can find on Pinterest if you are concerned about the calorie count. So dinner will be ready soon. I hope that you enjoyed this video, this weekend vlog. Joe is actually still working on the garden. So I am not going to show you a reveal of the garden quite yet. Might have to wait till next weekend. In the meantime, I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye. The finished product.